clouds hang low and the rains do fall, and everybody sing a little blues after all, but our love rolls on. The skies grow dark and the winds do blow, and counting on tomorrow, is it best touch and go? But our love rolls on. Our love rolls on. You and I have a reason to try. We'll make it over the hill. We survive and our love is alive, 'cause our love grows stronger still, and it always will. So it's rain or shine as the fates define, and even if some trouble comes along for the ride, still our love rolls on. Still our love rolls on. We can rise above it, 'cause our love rolls on and on and on.
And I am here to welcome you to this lovely, lovely sanctuary and to this service. Unitarian Universalism encourages an open-ended search for the meaning in life and a commitment to ask our values to shape our actions. We are a pluralistic religion that draws wisdom from many sources. We welcome all people into our community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, abilities, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We especially welcome those of you who may be worshiping with us for the first time. We invite you to join us after service downstairs for coffee and snacks, so that we have the opportunity to get to know you, and you get the opportunity to get to know us. Guests are welcome to participate in any and all activities in our community. If you'd like more information about the congregation, or if you have any questions, please ask any board member or Reverend Patrick Price. Thank you ever so much.
I'm Marcy Doyle. I am speaking to you this morning as a member of the Helping Congregations Task Force. We have been charged with updating after 20 years or so the covenant, as well as updating other policies of the congregation regarding safe practices. Today I am calling your attention to the proposed new covenant draft. There is an insert in the bulletin, and I hope you all saw it. This draft can also be found in the weekly newsletter. We are hoping you will take some time to look it over today or soon, and bring any suggestions or concerns you may have to any member of the task force. That's me or Dana Rosenberg, they'll be back soon, Lucia, Mike Lazio, Kathy Wiedemann, and
Can we ask all those folks to stand up? So they
I
can.
don't think they're here today. I think Lucia's here, and I think everybody else is away.
Okay.
Okay? But anyway, you can find us. You will find us if you need to. Today we are conducting a town hall after the service to discuss this and invite anyone who can come. Join me after your coffee. Childcare will be provided. Before I go, let me just say that I see that our principles are how we aspire to live in the world. And the covenant is the glue that holds us together as a congregation, spelling out how we are to interact with and treat each other. Please join me after the service, but if you cannot make it today, there will be another town hall 2 weeks from today on the 26th, and another online only on Monday evening, the 27th. Once we have gathered your input, the task force will tweak the draft and send it to the board for a final look. This will then be presented at the May congregation meeting where you'll have a vote. Thank you. Hope to see you later today.
Can we bring the mic up? It's not.
That's not what's here.
It's not on. Thank you for those of you who are hearing impaired. I also have issues. If we can make sure that there's, we can make sure that there's seating for everybody. We have a little trouble sometimes. It's a nice problem to have this morning. We have a lot of people here, so if somebody's looking for a seat, please be aware of that. Hello.
I think that might be the mic we were having like serious issues with this morning.
We're having.
Yeah, I'm all the way up here.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and use the floor mic.
Don't get too close.
Yeah.
Is this one really loud? Is that the problem? Woo. Okay, I'm a former educator. I can talk really loud. Good morning. I'm Lori McCollum, and I'm here representing the Environmental Forum today, and I want to thank Reverend Price for letting me talk today. I got bumped last week, so we don't usually do two spotlights. I just want you to imagine for a moment mac and cheese, minestrone soup, stuffed shells, butternut squash ravioli. What do all of these things have in common?
Vegetables.
They're vegetarian dishes. Yes, thank you, Darcy. Next Sunday after service is our quarterly vegetarian potluck, and we want to invite everyone to come to that. Hopefully bring something. Even if you're not a vegetarian, it's okay. You eat vegetarian food. All you got to do is bring a salad. How about deviled eggs? There's lots of options. You're not going to get a lecture from me about being completely vegetarian because I'm not. I eat meat. However, every year I eat less meat. That's my goal because it's healthier, it costs less, and it's better for the planet. So there's lots of reasons to include vegetarian menus in your diet. I also want to mention that it is the number one thing you can do personally to reduce your carbon footprint. If you cut back your meat consumption by about 2/3, you can cut your personal carbon footprint by 50%. That's a pretty big deal. It also reduces your risk of dying by 30%, and that's a good goal. So join us after service next Sunday. Bring something if you'd like, and if you have a recipe to share, bring the card. People could snap a photo of it, and then they could make that delicious dish themselves. Thank you. There's sign-up sheets downstairs on the tables.
Mr. Dickrow,
Yes,
Mike is on number 1 up there.
this one is on one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's off right now. Technical difficulties.
Sorry, we usually don't have this problem. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. Please join us in our unison chalice lighting this morning. It's in your order of service and on the screen. Together we say,
We come together and we bound not by greed or mutual desire to please one God or many gods, yet we are drawn together by a belief that how we are in the world, who we are together, matters.
we light this chalice together
In the knowledge that love, not fear, can change this world.
And now join us in our opening hymn, number 131 in your hymnal and on the screen, and rise as you're willing and able in body and spirit. Please remain standing and join us in our responsive reading. Number 638 in your hymnal and on the screen. Love, 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and angels but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or clanging cymbal.
If I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and knowledge, and if I have faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing.
If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over my body to be burned, but I do not have love, I gain nothing.
Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth.
It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. Prophecies will come to an end. Tongues will cease. Knowledge will come to an end. We know in part, we prophesy in part. But when the complete come, the partial will come to an end.
When I was a child, I spoke like a child.
When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. Now we see in a mirror, in a riddle.
Then we will see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I will know fully.
Now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. The greatest of these is love. And now we turn and greet the holy in our midst by briefly turning and greeting our neighbors. Briefly.
All right. We can do this. No closer than that. Okay. I am also an educator, so I can project too. But my mouth goes a little dry, so I apologize for all the sipping. So last week, in class, while the kids were doing the art project, I went around and I asked them a few simple questions that I'm going to pose to you guys too, real quick. And we'll go through the responses. Because when it comes to love, I think everybody knows exactly what it should look like. You know? Because I asked the kids a lot of these questions like, who do you love? Who or what do you love? And some of the answers were actually pretty nice. A lot of them said family. Yeah, I like that. Some of them said cats. Yep, okay, I like that. I had one response that said Fanta. And I said, okay, you're allowed to like what you want to like. But I thought it would be fun to ask them the more important question, what is love? Does anybody have any ideas? We'll go around. I'm curious to hear because I've written down what the kids said, and I'll share those with you here in a little bit because I thought those were really funny. But what do you think love is? Go ahead.
My wife.
Love is your wife. Excellent. Speak up.
1, 2, 3.
One song said it's a second-hand emotion. Yeah. We got a couple hands here. Unconditional. When you care more about somebody else's well-being than you do your own. Excellent. Yeah. Anybody else? I'm keeping it short today because I really like some of these. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Taryn.
Love is also loving yourself enough to, so that you have what it takes to love the people around you.
Loving yourself so you can love others. That is really good. I really do like that. I saw a hand back there. Do you have something to add? No? Okay. Because I'm going to read what you wrote. Let's see if you remember that from last week. So some of the kids, and I'm not going to name names because I'm sure they wouldn't necessarily care about that. But there were quite a few. I don't know what love is. But you know, but who do you love? Oh, I love my mom. Okay. So you do know something about love. Well, yeah, everybody knows something. Okay. Who do you love? I love my family. But what is love? This child replied, love is happiness, where you're just happy and silly. All right, I like that. I love my cat and Fanta. Was a little bit questionable on this one. It's something at Valentine's Day, and it's gross, and it's like kissing. Okay, not entirely wrong. What is love? Well, it's about spending time with your family. Okay, that's not a problem. What is love? Love is like having a relationship or something. Okay, all right. And we had some really astute ones here. What is love? Love is when you feel a strong connection to someone or something, and you always want to be with it or them. Whoa. Okay. Another little kid said, love is a feeling you have inside when you really, 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 3 reallys, like someone. I said, all right. And then we had some more I don't knows. But they love their mommy, and they love their daddy, and they love their family, and they love their cats, and giraffes, and cheetahs, and cameras, and zoos. So they've got an idea. Let's see here. One child said, they don't want to be separated from something, and they want to be around it all the time. All right. And somebody just very simply put, well, it's like when you love your mom. Okay. So I just thought it was really interesting to see and hear what the kids would have to say on a very high level concept. Because I think everybody has a good idea of what love should look like, but it's really fun to see how the kids themselves will see it. And I just wanted to share it with you guys since I got a little kick out of some of their comments. So we'll head up and we'll go downstairs and we'll do some other stuff.
Do a quick mic check. Can you all hear me?
No.
Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Bring it up some, please.
No. Take it down. Take it down. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our reading this morning is Love Like a Greek, the 6 Types of Love, from an article in October of 2022 by Roman Krznaric, an American and Australian cultural thinker and co-founder of the School of Life in London. And this is from a book he wrote called How Should We Live? Great Ideas from the Past for Everyday Life. He says, looking for an antidote to modern modern culture's emphasis on romantic love, perhaps we can learn from diverse forms of emotional attachment prized by ancient Greeks. Today's coffee culture has incredibly sophisticated vocabulary, so we would like to have something a little simpler. The ancient Greeks were just as sophisticated in the way that they talked about love, recognizing 6 different varieties. Actually, it's more than that. They would have been shocked by our crudeness in using a single word to whisper, "I love you," over and over, a candlelight meal, and casually sign an email, "Lots of love." So what are the 6 loves known to the Greeks, and how can they inspire us to move beyond our current addiction to romantic love, which has 94% of young people hoping, but often failing, to find a unique soulmate who can meet and satisfy all of their emotional needs? Eros, or sexual passion. The first kind of love was eros, named after the Greek god of fertility, and it represented the idea of sexual passion and desire. But the Greeks didn't always think of this as something positive. And as they would tend today, in fact, Eros was viewed as a rather dangerous, fiery, and irrational form of love that could take a hold and possess you, an attitude shared by many later spiritual thinkers such as C.S. Lewis. Eros involved a loss of control that frightened the Greeks. This is odd, of course, because losing control is precisely what a lot of people seek now in a relationship. Don't we all hope to fall madly in love? The second type is philia, or deep friendship. The second variety of love was philia, or friendship, which the Greeks valued far more than the base sexuality of Eros. Philia pertained to the deep camaraderie and friendship developed between brothers in arms who fought side by side in the battlefield. It was about showing loyalty to your friends, sacrificing for them, sharing your emotions with them. Now, another kind of philia, sometimes called storge, embodied the love between parents and children. So there actually is more than six. So storge is more familial. We can also ask ourselves how much this camaraderie philia we have in our lives. It's an important question in an age when we attempt to amass friends on Facebook and followers on Twitter, achievements that could hardly impress the Greeks. I think this is also terribly important because there seems to be this crisis in friendship, especially for men in our culture. So the issue of philia is a very important one for us. The third type he lifts up is ludus, L-U-D-U-S, or playful love. Now, ludus was the Greeks' idea of playful love, which referred to an affection between children, young lovers. And he says we've had a taste of it in our flirting and teasing in the early stages of relationships. But we also live our ludus when we sit around in the bar, bantering, laughing with friends when we go out dancing. You know, cheers. Dancing with strangers can be an ultimate ludic activity, almost a playful substitute for sex sometimes. Social norms may frown on this kind of adult frivolity, but the little more ludus you might just be what we need to spice up our love lives. The fourth type he lifts up is agape, or love for everyone. The fourth love, and perhaps the most radical, was agape, the selfless love. This was a love that you extend to all people, whether family members or distant strangers. Agape was later translated into Latin as caritas, which was the origin of our word charity. C.S. Lewis referred to it as a gift love, the highest form of Christian love, but it also appears in other religious traditions, such as the idea of metta, or universal loving kindness in Theravada Buddhism. There is growing evidence that agape is in dangerous decline in many countries. Empathy levels in the U.S. have declined sharply over the past 40 years, with the steepest fall occurring in the last decade. We urgently need to revive our capacity to care about strangers. The fifth type he lifts up is pragma, or long-standing love. Another Greek love was a mature love, known as pragma. This was the deep understanding that developed between long-married couples. Pragma was about making compromises to help the relationship work over time and showing patience and tolerance. Psychoanalyst Erich Fromm said that we spend too much energy on falling in love and need to learn more about how to stand in love. Pragma is precisely about standing in love, making an effort to give love rather than just receive it. With about a third of first marriages in the U.S. ending in divorce or separation within the first 10 years, Greeks would surely think we should bring a serious dose of pragma into our relationships. And a little thing I just read recently is one of the single biggest things that people can do in any relationship is to say thank you, to express gratitude. Saying I love you is not as important as saying thank you. The sixth type he offers is philautia. Now, that's P-H-I-L-A-U-T-I-A, for those of you who care. Philautia. The Greek sixth variety of love, or self-love, and clever Greeks realized there are actually two types of self-love. One was an unhealthy variety that some of us are very, very familiar with, associated with narcissism. How many narcissists do we all know? How many narcissists have we had to deal with in our government? So narcissism is about being self-obsessed, focused on the personal fame, fortune, all that sort of thing. A healthier, enhanced version of a wider capacity of love is what we're looking for in philia. The idea that if you like yourself and feel secure in yourself, you will have plenty of love to give to others, as reflected in the Buddhist-inspired concept of self-compassion. In other words, as Aristotle put it, all friendly feelings for others are an extension of one's feelings for oneself. So ends our reading. At this time, we seek to come together to express one of the sacraments of our lives, which is the opportunity to be generous, to support this community in all of its ministries as we move forward. We offer you the opportunity to be generous both here and online, for those of you who are sharing with us today online at ucqc.org. And you can pay at the bottom of the page via PayPal or a credit card. Our offering will now be received with these words. This congregation is a theologically diverse community with membership open to all who are in accordance with our principles and our mission and vision. We are, in fact, a welcoming congregation to all sexual orientations and unconditionally welcoming any and all of you to our community of mutual caring, serious intent to grow in spirit and moral beings. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by democratic process. One of the privileges of the Free Church is also one of our responsibilities, and that is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of our spiritual values, a sacrament, recognized as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. So you are now invited to participate in the blessing and giving as the ushers come forward among you to accept the gifts of this congregation. Thank you for your generosity. Our undesignated plate this month will go to Martin Luther King Park here in Davenport.
This is a song about agape, caritas, metta, wanting others to feel joy and not feel suffering regardless of your involvement.
I should come on board and light candles as you're willing and able.
What in the world are we going to do? Look at what everybody's going through. What kind of world do you want it to be? Am I the future or the history? 'Cause everyone hurts, everyone cries. Everyone tells each other all kinds of lies. Everyone falls, everybody dreams and doubts. Gotta keep dancing when the lights go out. Gotta keep dancing when the lights go out. my brother, not my enemy. 'Cause everyone hurts, everyone cries. Everyone sees the color in each other's eyes. Everyone loves everybody, gets their hearts ripped out. Gotta keep dancing when the lights go out. Gotta keep dancing when the lights go out. Hold tight for everyday life. Hold tight for everyday life. At first light, throw my arms out open wide. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Yes.
Among the joys, concerns, and other items shared with us, our cleaning gnomes say lost items have been found. Please check the tables downstairs during coffee hour. Items left in 2 weeks will be joyfully donated. Mindy Pace says Mindy is having hand surgery on Wednesday and is looking for any kind of support you can offer her. And Lori McCullum says, thanks to those of you who have expressed concern for Doug, who is home with COVID. He's doing much better. Thank you.
There is one online.
Yes, what is it?
Karen Fowler says that I am sad about the loss of life and general destruction of people's lives from the earthquake on the border of Syria and Turkey. It's heartening to see the world pull together to help this disaster.
Yes, over 30,000 people at this point have been confirmed dead in the earthquake. So please express both your concerns and your support in whatever ways you are willing and able to do. Let us become aware of the energy that brings us together in our shared joys and sorrows as we move into a time of quiet. May we each open our minds and hearts to a place of calm to allow the coming of love to fill us. Spirit of life, who draws us together in a web of holy relationships, make your presence known with us and in us and among us. Remind us that we are not alone in history. Ignite us with the courage of the living tradition. Remind us that we are not alone in the entering the future. Anchor us with patience and perseverance. Remind us that we are not alone in our times of grief and pain. Comfort us with your Spirit, manifest in human hands and voices. Remind us that we are not alone in joy and wonder. Inspire us to honor and extend the beauty we find in this world. Divine music of the universe, Let our hearts beat in diverse and harmonious rhythms, cooperating with an everlasting dance of love. May we move with the rhythms of peace. May we move with the rhythms of compassion. May we move with the rhythms of justice. Source of stars and planets and water and land, open our hearts to all our neighbors. Open our souls to a renewal of faith. Open our hands to join together in the work ahead. Blessed be. So be it. Amen. Please join us now in our hymn of meditation, number 34, Though I May Speak with Brave as Fire, and rise as you're willing and able in body or spirit. Can you hear me okay here on mic? No, not so much? Am I eating the mic here?
Yes.
Okay. So do I need to bring it this close?
Yes.
All right. I will try not to bark in it. We had a 3-hour worship class here yesterday, so I spoke for 3 hours, and my voice paid for it a little bit. So we had a great time. Sorry you missed it. For those of you who were here, you had a great time, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if you're not aware of it, February 14th is Valentine's Day, and it's 2 days away. Right? So what does that mean? You got to get stuff. So what are some of the shapes? Who let the dogs out? A lot of barking out here. What are the shapes of love and the forms and images of love that we think of, especially around this time of year? Any ideas? Give me anything that jumps to your mind. Keep it clean, we're on the line. I'm sorry?
Romance.
Romance, okay.
Hearts.
Hearts.
Chocolate.
Chocolate, yes. Do I hear dark chocolate? Yes. What else?
Diamonds.
Flowers.
Flowers.
The color red and the color pink.
Color red and pink.
Diamonds.
Diamonds. Ooh. Somebody's thinking big. I like this. I'm sorry?
Arrows.
Arrows.
Going out to dinner.
Going out to dinner.
Cupid.
Cupid. Okay. Great.
Cross-country skiing.
Cross-country. We're a diverse community. Cross-country skiing. Okay. We all have our rituals.
Staying home.
Staying home. Okay, good. All right, so those are just a few, and there are more going to sure pop up for you as we go along. You know, boxes of candy, cards, letters, a loved one's name. Now, what are some of the textures of physical sensations that we associate? Again, keep it clean, we're online. How about velvet?
Silk.
Silk.
Softness.
Satin ribbons. The feel of chocolate in your mouth. The little heart candies. Okay, so we're going to take it one step further here. What are some of the smells and tastes?
Flowers.
Strawberries and chocolate.
Perfume.
Perfume.
Glow.
Champagne. Lip gloss. Aftershave. So take a moment and be with all of these things. Just kind of take a second there and hang into that. How do you feel? What do you feel? Longing, gratitude, joy, grief, fear, anxiety, desire, perhaps other things. These lists of the ways we encounter and know love and the things we associate with it are endless. And they are as endless as the world and human experience. Love is an emotion, something intangible. And yet for us, it still has shapes, textures, smells, flavors, associations. We find these both in the feelings we have inside of ourselves and the ways love expresses itself tangibly in the world. Today, we're talking about many kinds of love, but especially those known to mystics and to gods. I see I have your attention. As mentioned earlier, there are a lot of ways to define love. There are many various shapes to love, the different languages and cultures we use to identify it. A recent internet study turned up articles defining from 3 to 8 or more types of love based on language, culture, psychology, and other criteria. I choose to use the ancient Greeks because their system has tended to stand the test of time, and it is integrated inextricably into our Western culture, in our literature, our mythologies, our paintings, our art. In the reading earlier by Roman Krasniak outlines 6 types of love according to the ancient Greeks. Again, very quickly. Again, they are eros, which is about sexual passion and desire, not really what we think of as romantic love, as was seen as a dangerous, fiery, and irrational thing for love that could take a hold and possess you, he said. We often talk about being madly in love. This loss of control was not seen as a positive thing by the Greeks. And those of us who have been teenagers and have raised teenagers are acquainted with this kind of love. Are we not? And there are some adults who indulge in this kind of love as well. Sometimes it's kind of fun, but we have to be careful not to lose our minds. The next type of love is really 2. It's philia, a love of friendship and loyalty and even sacrifice for each other. This type was highly valued by the Greeks for its reliability and its steadfastness. It often equated with brotherly love or sisterly love, and hence the fact that Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. That's one way to remember that one. These types of love within families, though, were also known as storge, usually representing love between parents and children. Another name or shape of love that we don't tend to use as much today is called ludus. It's the playful kind of love or affection between children and lovers, and it's a bantering, even flirting kind of affection. The fourth type of love is pragma, which is a mature love, such as between long married couples. In contrast to falling in love, pragma is about standing in love with all of the challenges, compromises, tolerance, patience that deeper, longer relationships require. I think also that we could probably use more emphasis on this type of love, this pragma, within our congregations as well as our families. A fifth type of love is also called philatia. Philaeutia, which the Greeks identified as self-love. And of course, there's also the recognition that self-love can be a negative with narcissism, that dark side. But the healthier form of philaeutia is about self-awareness, self-knowledge, and growing our capacity to love. And the sixth form that Krznaric identified from the ancient Greeks is one many of us are familiar with from religious language. It is agape, which is often seen as a type of selfless love or love for everything and everyone. It is a love associated with empathy, the kind of love that is associated with divine love for the world and the beloved community that Dr. King spoke of. Now I'm going to focus on the interaction between eros and agape in religious experience. The form of love that ancient Greeks called eros is about longing for the object of our desire. There is actually a sort of objectification of the other. There is an intensity of feeling that can be a huge rush of excitement and anxiety for one feeling it, and stomach churning for many watching from the sidelines. My children are teenagers and preteens now, and there's a lot of cringeworthiness in some of the shows that the adults watch, that the kids go, oh my God, ooh, ah, yeah, you know, because there's a lot of this kind of stomach churning, erotic kind of love going on, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm so embarrassed. Right? Sometimes we should be embarrassed. The essence of the experience is an intense desire to be one with the beloved, to lose ourselves in the other, to blend with them. And I'm reminded of a Marx Brothers bit from years ago where Groucho is holding a beautiful woman in his arm, and she says, hold me closer, closer. And he goes, lady, if I was holding you any closer, I'd be behind you. Some of us get so engrossed with or addicted to the desire that we fail to grasp the opportunities we say we desire. In reflecting on my previous experience for many years of singlehood, from my 20s to my 30s, I was a single adult male minister. That's a job fraught with peril. Because people are always lining up their candidates for you. Fortunately, I met another minister, married her, and we've been married for 20 years now. We're good. But I learned an interesting nugget of wisdom in all of this. I'll share it with you. If you want something in the worst way, that's probably how you'll get it. Let's say that again. If you want something in the worst way, that's probably how you'll get it. Scott Peck, in his classic book on relationships, The Road Less Traveled. How many of you are familiar with that book? Yes? The older folks know this book quite well. Younger folks, get acquainted with it. It's a very good book. And he talks about issues of ego boundaries, of longing and the collapse of ego boundaries, in the dream of the beloved where you become, and the other become a we. He says the main thrust of his book is that this neurochemically induced state that cannot be maintained indefinitely. Usually after weeks, months, or even sometimes years, one of the partners wakes up from the lover's dream with their regained ego boundaries and asks, what's really going on here? Who is this person? Why am I here? What is this about? Usually the other partner reaches over and says to the equivalent of, quit complaining and get back in bed. Come back into the dream with me. Why are you leaving me? And at this point, there's a recognition of the deeper reality of the situation and an opportunity to either engage with the possibilities, for co-creating something more sustainable, perhaps more of the pragma kind of love, and more akin to being in love with this person, or going on to some other again and looking again for the perfection of the lover's dream. How many of us are acquainted with people who are serial monogamists? Right? They go from one relationship to another, and the relationships look exactly the same, just different faces and names. Right? We have relatives who've done this. Family members, sometimes it's us. Okay? And it's because we're looking for that lover's dream, and when we fall out of it, we're looking to have that high again. We're looking to have that experience. That same desire for oneness, for perfection, for something other than ourselves. And this drives much of a religious impulse for some people too, the seeking after the holy. We see this in people who go from one religion to another. They fall in love with a religion, and then they fall out of love with it, and they fall in love with another religion. They move on and on and on. In my mid-20s, I had a chance for a lot of spiritual exploration. This included sitting and chanting, meditation, shamanic journeying, ritual of various kinds. And one of the great secrets of the mystics is that you can't be in a mystical state all the time. As the Buddhists say, after enlightenment, the laundry. I asked a Buddhist priest once about this. He said, yes, we actually do say that. Even shamans have to earn a living. Both eros and commitment sometimes are risk-taking behaviors. One risks the transcendence of previous bounds, and the other risks the loss of choices in order to go deeper within a particular set of boundaries. In order to maintain some semblance of the union with the beloved, we seek a way to have stability or continuity with the relationship. In order to maintain the goal of being in contact with the beloved, a commitment to the beloved, the nature of the relationship changes from losing ourselves in each other to finding ourselves through committed relationship with each other. Agape. There is a famous poem, prayer, called The Charge of the Goddess, which Miriam Simos, our Starhawk, recast a number of years ago. It's an example of one of the perspectives of approaching the beloved. I, who am the beauty of the green earth and the white moon among the stars and the mysteries of the waters, I call upon your soul to arise and come unto me. For I am the soul of nature that gives life to the universe. From me all things proceed, and unto me they must return. Let my worship be in the heart that rejoices, for behold, all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. Let there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence within you. For you who seek to know me, know that your seeking and yearning will avail you not unless you know the mystery. For if that which you seek you find not within yourself, you will never find it without. For behold, I have been with you from the beginning, and I am that which is attained at the end of desires. The enlargement of ourselves comes from within ourselves as we experience and understand that other is both apart from and a part of ourselves. Now, a comparative reading is from the Muslim tradition, from Shams ud Dun Muhammad Hafiz. And this is actually in our hymnal also. He says, "Cloak yourself in 1,000 ways, still I shall know you, my beloved. Veil yourself in every enchantment, and yet I shall feel you. Presence most dear, close and intimate. I shall salute you in the springing of cypresses, and in the sheen of lakes, and the laughter of fountains. I surely see you in tumbling clouds, in brightly embroidered meadows. O beloved presence, more beautiful than all of the stars together, I trace your face in ivy that climbs, in clusters of grapes, in morning flaming the mountains, in the clear arch of the sky. You gladden the whole earth and make every heart great. You are the breathing of the world. At the end of Hafiz's poem, we go from desire to the discovery of joy and fulfillment. You are the breathing of the world. Both of these move from desire and longing through recognition and celebration to the commitment and deepening. Agape. Dr. King writes about agape. He says, but the end is reconciliation. The end is redemption. The end is the creation of the beloved community. This is the type of spirit and this type of love that can transform opposers into friends. The type of love that I stress here is not eros, a sort of aesthetic or romantic love, or philia, a sort of reciprocal love between friends and persons, but it is agape, which is understanding goodwill for all. It is an overflowing love which seeks nothing in return. It is the love of God working in the lives of all. It is the love that may well be the salvation of our civilization. While eros is an essential part of our journey towards agape, it is not enough by itself. And it's not linear. It's not a linear process, but something that we may engage in over and over and over again in different ways. The need to move through processes of engagement and even fusion and then differentiation and recognition of the essential interdependent and co-participating nature of our existence with each other, the universe, and the holy itself. Love is the shape of the world through which we experience it. And for all of these shapes, all of these feelings, and these concrete manifestations, love is no fixed thing. It has movement and is moved and moves us. I sense that it is not so much the shape as the hands doing the shaping. It is not so much Cupid's arrow and bow, but the arm that pulls them and the eye which seeks the mark. Love, like the wind, touches everything and gives shape to all. In our pain and our fear, we may try to keep our love out or lock it up and never let it go. We can put up walls and barriers or create secret places we think are hidden from the light of love. But like the sun and the wind, love ultimately finds us. And yet, for all of this, love promises us nothing. That is, almost nothing. It does not promise us excitement, pleasure, or even happiness. It does not promise it does not protect us from loss or anger or pain. And I think a great deal of foolishness on my part, of those and many others, occurs when we have these expectations that love, and then we are subsequently disappointed. I feel that love is ultimately about the enlargement of our lives. Love is about the enlargement of our ability to experience life in all of its shapes and forms. Love's promise is a greater abundance of living. And this is the only promise of any sacred thing, the promise of a more abundant life. This is the promise of any sacred thing, the promise of a more abundant life. The shapes of love are the shapes of our lives lived to their utmost as our most honest, most sincere selves. Love allows us and seduces us to embrace life in all of its forms, the good and the bad, and to be made more than we were, to be transformed into our best selves, perhaps, In turn, we can then widen our arms even more and embrace ourselves and everyone and everything more deeply than before and more profoundly than we ever thought possible. The shapes of our lives are the shapes of our lives lived with our arms wide open. Nothing less and nothing more. Go in love. Please join us in our closing hymn. Number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath, and rise as you're willing and able in body or spirit. Join us in the extinguishing of our flaming chalice and sending its light into the world. As we say together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Within each of our hearts there is a most glorious light. Go forth and let its spark help you understand what troubles both you and others. Go forth and let its light of reason be a guide in your decisions. Go forth and bring its ray of hope to those in need of help in both body and spirit, that they may find healing. Go forth and fan the flames of passion to help to heal the world. Go forth and spread the warm glow of love, pushing back the darkness of the world. Go forth and share your glorious light with the world. May the Eternal bless you and protect you. May the Eternal smile on you and favor you. May the Eternal befriend you and prosper you, and all people always. Amen. And blessed be. So be it. Please be seated briefly for the posting.
To your left.
The candles. Watch out for the candles are right behind you, Tara.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.